If I can figure it out, you too can figure it out. With simple motive, let's begin our discussion of autoimmune disorders. Okay, now it is the next topic of immune system. Talking about autoimmune disorder, what are these? These are the condition in which immune system of body is activated against itself. That means immune system of body is activated itself. Simply one line, immune system of body is activated against itself. Now, what are the various causes that cause this? I mean, why the immune system of body it gets activated against itself? So there are various etiological factors that we will be talking about, but initially, before getting into the etiological factor, we would like to focus on this pathogenicity on autoimmune disorders. This is the diagram from 10th edition's Robbins, and here if we will see here, then we will see that okay, here we can see, I would like to focus you towards self-reactive lymphocytes, right? Self-reactive lymphocytes. The immune disorder takes place when there will be excessive self-reactive antigens or B cells and T cells in body, and that happens when there will be less tolerance. I mean, the tolerance of body is reduced. What are the tolerance? We have learned about tolerance in previous chapter. On the there were two type of tolerance: central tolerance and peripheral tolerance. As the tolerance get reduced, there will be a high chance of development of self-reactive antigen, B cell and T cell in body, and these antigen they start attacking one cells, one organs on one system, and that is what autoimmune disorders are. Okay, here there can be several causative factors that leads to the development of autoimmune disorder, right? The first one we can see here, this is the environmental triggers. The environmental triggers, right, they can cause infection, inflammation, they will cause tissue injuries, and when and another you can see there are genetic susceptibility, right? Genetic factors, what they will do is they will cause failure of self tolerance. As there will be failure of cell tolerance, we can see that there will be a large number of self-reactive lymphocytes, right? Self-reactive lymphocytes will be produced, B cells and T cells, right? What they will do is these self-reactive T cell and B cell will start, right? What they will do is this self-reactive lymphocytes, they will get into what? They will get into tissues, right? Influx of self-reactive lymphocytes into tissues. They will get into tissues, and while getting into tissue, what they will do is they will cause the activation of self-reactive lymphocyte. They will cause the activation of self-reactive lymphocyte, and they will start degrading one tissue, right? This is a simple through idea of how this occurs. Okay, I would like to read it out. Pathogenesis of autoimmunity results from multiple factors, such as including susceptibility genes that we have seen right here, gene susceptibility, and another we can see is susceptibility genes that may interfere with cell tolerance, as we have already told about cell tolerance. And there are environmental triggers such as infection, tissue injuries, and inflammations that promote lymphocyte entry into tissues, right? And activation of self-reactive lymphocyte, and that will eventually cause tissue damage. Okay, let us focus on the multiple reasons for causing autoimmune disorder. Talking about multiple reasons, okay, now etiology. We will focus toward etiology. We will talk about etiology. Okay, what are the multiple causes of autoimmune disorder? Talking about etiology, the first point that I would like you to focus on is failure of tolerance. I have already mentioned about it. Failure of tolerance. Okay, and it can be any central tolerance or peripheral tolerance. If there will be failure of tolerance, obviously there will be formation of large number of self-reactive T cells and B cells, and that will start acting against one antigen. Okay, and the another thing, under etiology, under causes, we are going to learn about HLA gene defect. Now, what are these HLA genes? If you remember, if you recall the discussion that we made in MHC lecture, then you will know that HLA are another name for MHC complexes, right? Human leukocytes antigen, right? Okay, what will happen if there will be defect in HLA genes? Okay, we have said that the one of the cause for autoimmune disorder is human leukocytes antigens gene defect. Okay, defect. Okay, what will happen here is there is one HLA gene. The name of that HLA gene is HLA-B27. Now there is going to be a certain disorder in which particular type of allele increases risks of development of autoimmune disorder. What I said is there is going to be a certain disorder, right, in which particular type of allele increases the development of autoimmune disorder. Allele is causing the increase in risks of development of autoimmune disorder. Example, association between what? This HLA-B27 gene with an example of orthopedic condition. And what is that orthopedic condition? Ankylosing spondylitis. What I said is this with ankylosing spondylitis. Okay, ANKYLOSING, ankylosing spondylitis, right? Okay, now talking about the another cause, right? There are non-HLA genes, right, whose defect also tend to cause autoimmune disorders. Okay, I'm talking about non-HLA genes. Now, on the non-HLA genes, the most important of the non-HLA gene is PTPN22 gene. What I said is PTPN22 gene. Now, what is this gene? I said that it is the most important for occurrence of autoimmune disease, right? This is the most important one, right? Now, what this P22 gene does is it causes the abnormal lymphocyte activation and proliferation. What I said is abnormal lymphocyte activation and proliferation. Now, you can see if there will be abnormal lymphocyte activation and proliferation, it means what? It means there will be a production of large number of T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes, and eventually that will lead to autoimmune disorders, right? Okay, now another thing that I would like to mention is about the another non-HLA gene, and the name of another non-HLA gene is NOD genes. We have learned about NOD gene in the first lecture of basic of immunity, right? If you remember, there was one cytoplasmic receptor that was the NOD-like receptor, but here we are talking about NOD2 genes, right? NOD2. Okay, what it does is this NOD2 gene, what it does is the flora that we have, the microbial flora that we have in our GIT, right, that we have in our GIT is managed by or is kept in regulation with the help of NOD-like 2 genes. The immune system of GIT, I said the immune system of GIT, right, whatever the microbial flora are present in GIT, those are there because of immune system regulation, certain balance in immune system, and that immune system is regulated by these NOD-like 2 genes, right? Okay, now what will happen if there will be any change in this NOD-like 2 gene? If there will be any change in this NOD-like gene, then obviously it will cause the abnormal activation of what? Abnormal activation of immune system, right? Immune system. And as there will be abnormal activation of immune system, obviously that could contribute to cause the development of inflammatory bowel disease. Okay, that means these NOD2 genes, they are responsible for, if there will be any change in these NOD-like 2 genes, then there will be then there can be a condition such as inflammatory bowel disease. What I said is inflammatory bowel disease. Okay, now moving forward, there is one receptor, that is interleukin 2 receptor. Now what this receptor does? Okay, interleukin 2 receptor. Okay, right, interleukin 2 receptor, in normal person, this interleukin 2 receptor is responsible for controlling the number of T T regulatory cells. Okay, we have heard this T regulatory cells somewhere. I mean, what I'm saying is these interleukin 2 receptors are useful in controlling T regulatory cells, right? T regulatory cells. Okay, now what they do is these interleukin 2 receptors, they decrease the number of T regulatory cells. As there will be, right, as there will be decreasement in T regulatory cells, there will be decreasement in peripheral tolerance. If you remember, T regulatory cell is one of the most important component of peripheral tolerance that we have learned in tolerance lecture, right? Okay, now what will happen here is, right, if there will be change in if there will be high amount of interleukin 2 receptors, then obviously there will be less T regulatory cells, and that will cause obviously what, less tolerance, right? And we know if there will be less tolerance, then it will enhance what, autoimmune diseases, and that's all, right? Now this was all under the topic of genetic this we were talking under genetic factor. I forgot to mention here, and these were the genetic factor that could cause what, that would cause autoimmune disorders. Now talking about another factor, and another factor is, it is the infection. Okay, it's simple, right? Infection, what I'm writing is infections. What infection does is, obviously infection, right? Infection causes one most important phenomenon, and that is increase in co-stimulatory signal. Now what is this co-stimulatory signal? If you recall the discussion that we made in T cell and B cell interaction, right, there was one signal, there were two signal, there was signal number 1, another signal number 2, and that signal number 2 was co-stimulatory signal. How it was arising? It was arising when there was interaction between B7 and CD28 molecule, right? Okay, and this was the interaction between B cell and T cell. Okay, that means this infection, what they do is they increases co-stimulatory signal. What I said is co-stimulatory signal. Okay, now what this increase in co-stimulatory signal will cause what, activation of T cell, right? And if there will be activation of T cell in large amount, then obviously there will be the condition of autoimmune disorder. Similarly, the another thing that infection does is there is one condition called molecular mimicry. MIMICRY. Okay, molecular mimicry. Okay, now what happens here is certain antigen enter in our body, right? Certain antigen enter in our body, and here the antigen is Streptococcus pyogenes, right? This Streptococcus pyogenes, when enter in our body, they secrete M protein, right? They produce M protein, and our defense mechanism will identify that M body, right? M protein, and while identifying that M protein, our defense mechanism or immune system will develop antibody against that M protein. Now there comes one twist. What is that twist? This M protein is structurally similar to glycoproteins, right? Glycolipids that are present in our cardiac, lungs, right, and kidneys and several organs of our body. Now what happens is the antibody which was produced against the M protein which was produced by Streptococcus pyogenes, now this M protein will also act upon our tissues, like the cardiac tissues, right, the tissues in lungs, in kidney, several other organs. That means what is going on here? Here the antibodies are going to affect our organs, right, our organs, and this is what the immunological disorder, autoimmune disorder. So molecular mimicry, right, molecular mimicry, and the one important phenomenon or one important disease where this occur is rheumatic fever. Now rheumatic fever, right? Okay, now talking about another cause, right? Another cause is polyclonal B cell activation. What I wrote is polyclonal B cell activation. Now what is this polyclonal B cell activation? From the words will be clear. Poly means what? More than one, obviously. more than one. And what is this clonal? Clonal means growth. Okay, from here we are clear that more than one growth of B cells activation. Okay, now what happens here is when certain antigen enter in our body, such as this is our antigen, right? When certain antigen enter in our body, there will be what? There will be stimulation of a lot of B cells, right? There will be stimulation of a lot of B cells. If any one of these B cells get mutated, if any one, okay, these are fine one, okay, if this one, only this one gets what? Mutated. If this one get mutated, then what will happen? There will be a formation of auto antibodies, right? And they will eventually kill all other B cells. And this is what happens from infection, right? Infection can lead to polyclonal B cell activation, right? And they can form what? Auto antibodies, a large number of auto antibodies. Now these things, I mean these phenomenon are especially seen on EPV, Epstein-Barr viruses, and also in HIV. These are one of the important examples, right? Okay, now another thing that this infection does is this infection spread cryptic epotype. What I said is this cause spread of cryptic CRIPTIC epitope, sorry. And what is this cryptic means? This cryptic means, this means hidden, right? Something that is hidden. And what is this epitope? Epitope is part of antigen that that activates immune system, right? Part of antigens part, right? This is okay. Now as there will be spread of this part of antigen, then obviously this will result in what? This will result in formation of a large number of antibodies, right? Self-acting antibodies. Now let us take one example. The example is, okay, this is our heart, right? This is our, what is this? This is our heart. Okay, here one small portion of heart is infected. Here this small portion of heart is infected. Now what will happen here is, when this small portion of heart is infected, the inflammations here is in so severe condition that the neighboring cells of these beside these cells are also going to be what? Damaged. And this will occur because of the antibody that was produced against the cells which were present here. And what happened? The spread of cryptic epotype. Here the cryptic epotype which were present here, they were spreaded on these areas, and because of which there was further more expansion of autoimmune disorder. And that is all. Now since we are talking about infection, right, the various cause that infection can bring to cause autoimmune disorder. Now I would like to, okay, right now what we are discussing is these infection are causing, what they are causing? They are causing several things that are helping to cause what? To cause autoimmune disorders. But now we are going to know about one paradoxical role of this infection, right? What is that role? The role is, here what happens is, okay, this infection also has one paradoxical role. What I am saying is paradoxical role of infection. Paradoxical role of infection. Here what happens is, right, here what happens is okay, when there will be infection for a long period of time, then at that time what will happen is, when there will be an infection for longer period of time, at that time there will be decrease in interleukin 2. Okay, now what we are saying is interleukin 2 are responsible to what? To suppress T regulatory receptors, we were saying, right? Okay, now if there will be a prolonged infection, then this prolonged infection will cause decrease in interleukin 2, right? And what this interleukin 2 does is, right, and this interleukin does, especially this interleukin 2 was required for the maintenance of what? T regulatory cells, right? If you remember, cells, right? And what these T regulatory cells are, these are the important component of peripheral tolerance, right, responsible for reducing, and these T regulatory cells are responsible for what they are responsible for? They are responsible for reducing autoimmune disorders. Now let us take a situation when a person are placed in too much clean environment, if one person is there, this person is kept in too much clean environment, right? Too much clean environment means so hygiene, right? A lot of hygiene, in lot of hygienic place, right? Environment, right? And if we will keep him in a lot of hygienic condition, then there will be less chance of infection. Obviously there will be less chance of infection, right? And these less chance of infection will cause, what they will cause is, they will cause extremely, right, extremely low level of interleukins 2, and this low level of interleukin 2, what it means is, it means low T regulatory cells, right? And these low T regulatory cells means, what this means, right? What this means, low T regulatory cells means low tolerance, right? And this low tolerance means what? This low tolerance means high autoimmune disorders, right? Okay, here what is going on is, we are maintaining a lot of hygiene, we are preventing a lot of infection, even though there is arising a condition in which we are getting autoimmune disorder. So here this is called the paradoxical role of what? Infection. And this condition is also called hygiene hypothesis. Hygiene hypothesis. HYPOTHESIS. Hygiene. For most of the condition, infection are going to increase the risk of autoimmune disorder, but sometimes they can be having paradoxical reduction in chance of autoimmune disorder, right? And that is what the hygiene hypothesis is. So too much of hygiene is also harmful. Okay, now we talked about various etiological causes, right? Etiology of autoimmune disorder. Now let us talk about other some of the miscellaneous causes of etiology, right? Let's talk about some of the miscellaneous etiologies. And talking about that, the first one that we need to talk about is release of sequestrated antigen. Now talking about the release of sequestrated antigen, okay, let me mention it here. Release of sequestrated antigen. I have already mentioned earlier that sequestrated means what? The one that are hidden, right? That are hidden. Now when these hidden antigen are released, then they will cause a large number of antibody formation against them, and there will be what? There will be a large amount of self-reacting lymphocytes formation, and that leads to autoimmune disorder. Similarly, the another is the sunlight or UV radiation, and this one is the environmental factor that will cause the lysis of cell, and when cell lyse or the cell organelles lyse, the nuclear content are released into the circulation, and that will cause a development of a large number of anti-nuclear antibody, and these are ANA, right? Anti-nuclear antibodies, and that also results in formation of autoimmune disorders. Now similarly, talking about other causes, other etiologies, we have hormones, right? Hormones. Now talking about hormones, okay, hormones, we have hormones. Talking about hormones, estrogen and progesterone are found to be a high etiological factor for causing autoimmune disorder. Since estrogen and progesterone are present in female, we can find a large number of females suffering from autoimmune disease rather than male. So what I have said is estrogen and progesterone, and female are more susceptible to bear this problem. Now similarly, now there are several drugs that can induce autoimmune disorders, and some of the drugs are okay, we can get that drugs from acronym SHIP, right? Acronym. And what is this? What is this from S? It is sulfonamide. From H we got hydralazine. From I we got isoniazid, right? And from P we got procanamide. Okay, now these are, what are these? This is the brief introduction on autoimmune disease, right? How are they caused, what is their pathogenicity, and this is all what we need to know.